looks like Kings SG does have a little bit more experience, and we've seen how experience actually has a gap against the previous team and Team Stallions. So going into the draft, taking out the Lancelot, taking out Baxia, I also believe that the CC will get banned out alongside the Angela. So these are main target bans across all of these seeded teams so far.
Yep. We also do have Coach Simple that will be coming in to draft for Kings for Kings SG. So we'll see how that is gonna go. Right off the bat, we are already looking at a Lancelot, Angela, as well as the Baxia being taken away. Doesn't really quite say much at this point in time, but it's pretty fair to say that a lot of these bans are still gonna be geared towards the competitive sense.
Yeah. Looking at the comments to a lot of fans for the side of Kings SG. Maybe, you know, they've got themselves a huge following for themselves. Hopefully, they will show us a good showing. Kings SG, right now, their turns are banned out. They might want to leave the Fanny open. I know that in the community scene, Kings SG has been sort of teasing that the Fanny from Yahiko will be a priority respect ban, and he shows a lot of prowess on that one.
Oh, Fanny, huh? We'll see how that is gonna look out to be. And ultimately, it doesn't seem like we have a lot of a pattern coming in from either of these two teams' bans. But at least for Insomniacs, they're really just rooting down onto some of the more annoying heroes and disablers that makes your team unable to play a certain way. I would say that Kimi doesn't really work in that kind of pattern. So I think that this is more of a ban whereby they just don't want to see them or they don't play them.
So CC is wide and open. First pickup by Kings SG. Looks like they're really happy about that pickup. For Insomniacs, though, might be looking at, you know, what would be a natural counter to ACC, or not even a counter, but like who in the EXP lane can match up against this CC?
I think at this point in time, you don't really win against a CC, but having a Lapu in lane does definitely help a bit because you will be able to clear the waves even without or with minimal contact against a CC. Because the main thing is you don't want to be right in front of the face of CC. However, CC can always just pounce in front and just kind of zone you out. It will still be a little bit difficult to work with, but ultimately you don't want to be a sitting duck. So there needs to be more lane influences in the middle lane, and unfortunately I'm not liking the fact that they went straight for a juice in. That means that lower lane influences, there is a Gato catcher, so it does help a bit.
I think maybe Insomniacs might be able to pick up the Alice for themselves in the EXP, maybe just holding herself up against the CC, but I was teasing the Grok. I was looking at Grok. I think Grok would be a very good pick for Kings, just because he has a little bit of the positional effect. Once he builds a wall, Insomniacs will need to move around that and sort of like create that space for themselves to get into a good position. But you know, Dangerous Grass, we always see Juicing getting picked up. I think this is a natural sort of like trend that a lot of teams are picking up. You need that lantern to open up that map because there's too many grasses to open up. And I think Rock would be a viable target for this one.
Yep. So moving on forward with this, they also picked up a Uranus. So right now, let's take a look at this. You know, Uranus does have a pretty good deal with CC as well, because not only does the fact that he have lesser health pool than some of the other XP laners or tanks, because the main thing about CC is that they deal damage based on your maximum, your HP total, right? So being able to regenerate all of that lost HP is definitely going to be very worth it for yourself, as you're able to just kind of bring yourself back in and out of the fight quite often.
I have to agree with you. Not a lot of immediate crowd controls, not about a lot of reliable crowd controls. It's not like a point and click. That's the issue with Insomniac's draft. But for Kings, the CC is all that's enough. You have the curtain call. You're able to lock two members down if they get a little bit too close. The only thing that Kings has to worry about is the side lane pressure that Uranus is going to bring. Insomniac's just really tying down onto Ryzen's heroes, taking out the Yeve. I wouldn't be surprised if the Varsa would be taken out as well.
Yeah, I didn't really quite think that they would ban out a Yeve, considering the fact that they picked up a Gato Kacha for themselves. As Gato Kacha is, of course, the #1 rival for Yeve, one of the main ways that you will be able to take Yeve out of the real-world manipulation because of the taunt. Taunt things is a pretty high level control effect, which can affect the real world manipulation.
Lunox getting banned out as well, but aside of Insomniacs, this Lunox mid lane doesn't have a lot of crowd controls, but does have a lot of burst damage, and I think that is what Insomniacs is trying to deny. And a lot of teams are starting to pick that up as well, especially for the mid side. So it's the Kimmy first in top priority. If not, you get the Juice in, and then you got the Lunox. So a lot of teams are starting to not pick up the Pharsa for themselves. So the only viable option for Kings, I would say Pharsa would be a good sort of like zone control. If you're playing against the Juice in, you have that range to match her.
Yeah, so you'll be able to just kind of wipe out the lanes pretty effectively.
The Gatot actually prevents you from picking up the far side, because once you do the Fred airstrike, you get the AOG into your face.
Not necessary, right? Because if we are looking at Pharsa versus Yves, whoever has between these two, Yves definitely have a longer uptime. Yep. So that means that the channeling of the AOG is more. It makes a bigger deal over to the Yves, because you want to be you want to be holding out as long as you can. But for Pharsa, the moment you open up, that's the first strike, and you got 2 more strikes to go. You can just blast them all out ASAP, and you wouldn't even be affected by the AOG in the end of the day.
And you also have a little bit of CC immunity as well. So I mean, it's already banned out. So the Kings would be able to need to be able to find a mid lane that could deal decent amount of damage, have rotations, and play around this environment. I think Kadita might be a viable option as well. A lot of teams are not picking it up, but it is quite a popular pick in typical community teams. So maybe that one. You don't really have a lot of AOEs, but yeah. Oh, okay, it's the first one, Esmeralda. So just back to Season 3. You got Esme and Uranus on the side lane.
Okay, so
CC in the gold.
Yeah. And that is the surprising thing, right? It's because they are not necessarily looking at like a Yisushin jungle kind of thing. This can definitely work. It will take some time for them to be able to, get this to work out. Regardless, having a fighter XP, or rather fighter into the side lanes, generally just means that they will be able to huddle together a lot earlier and pick up very strong team fights. And speaking of team fights, this is a lineup that does gear themselves pretty effectively to team fights, right? Because Esmeralda can initiate, Grog can counter-initiate, can initiate as well. A good amount of follow-ups coming in from both sides. They have got ways to really just crowd control down to the ground. No one that has got a targeted control spell except for CC, but that is of course with a caveat that there's someone nearby as well in order to really just tether them together. It doesn't stop their movement, but it limits their movements.
I would say Insomniacs' draft is easier to execute just because everyone has a specific role to play and they all know how to play it. The only difference is for Kings, the double fighter side lanes has been showing a lot of success in terms of zoning out the gold laner. And you're facing up a Granger, the damage and the sustain coming out from the CC will hold herself up against this monster. But in the late game, I would say if Insomniacs is able to take this game past that 15-minute mark, they will be able to win out a lot of these team fights.
And with that all said and done, ladies and gentlemen, we're going in. We do have got a pretty decent draft coming in from both ends, with Kings SG that have played off a fighter side lane, enabling them for a very early game centric to the mid game kind of lineup where they will fall off a lot more into the later stages. While Insomniacs, they do have got decent bursts in the early stages for the Joy to really just deal with the early game aggression. However, it is the sustainability that they have to look out for as well, with a bit more of the greediness from the side of Insomniacs because of number 1, the Uranus, and number 2, a marksman. I wouldn't call that greediness, but more of the fact that is curved in a proper way.
Yeah.
Oh, Silence stole the buff.
Oh, actually, that's gonna delay Kings a little bit. Yahiko's gonna feel that pinch in a bit. Is Xavier trying to get out? You got to revitalize just to keep her safe. A Silent actually blocks in all contact around Xavier. Now Yahiko still level 1. I think they're gonna be ramping up their aggression. Silence already there. He uses his retribution, get that out. Doesn't get the lethal as well as Insomniacs just pushing King's SG back. That's gonna bite him a little bit. That's gonna hurt, but it's not gonna delay him too much. I think if they are able to ride that momentum, INSOMNIACS will be able to secure that first turtle and get the first easy kill.
Yeah, this is not a very good start for Yahiko, unfortunately. But down in the middle lane, we do have Xavier that will be taken down almost immediately. So that kind of catches up for Yahiko just by a tad bit.
Yeah, I think it just equalizes the level difference just a little bit, as Dex already level 4, ramping up the aggression in the orange buff jungle. But as Maroda's back on that defense, they are just in the vicinity. I think Dex will be able to get out safe. But all in all, INSOMNIACS, they're playing their aggression to the T. Gatsukacha stealing that orange buff will delay Yahiko just a little bit. Turtle already spawned up, doesn't have that level 4 yet. Dex is in control, he's in the vicinity. He does not have the ultimate just yet, but it's going to be coming up really, really soon.
Yep, he does have his ulti right now, but they're going to have to take this turtle down ASAP. Otherwise, Des will be able to get himself to level 5. In the meantime, the Feathered Airstrike is just going to be striking on the way down. Bill TZ almost went down, but not quite there just yet. With the AOG that comes in to re-engage, that's 4 members from the side of INSOMNIACS that will be tackling down on the King's SG, allowing them to pick up a kill onto Bunboy Reborn and reclaim the turtle for themselves.
Bunboy Reborn sends to the graveyard. INSOMNIACS will snap, pick, and blitz down this turtle. Dex will pick it up for himself. As King's SG, they are playing on the defensive, but they do have that aggressive power. I feel like the King's SG should be able to go on the aggression, use the fair airstrike, and then try to finish up and clear it out with Yahiko. I feel like the orange buff steal in the early game, and the first 30 seconds of the game is really hurting him just a little bit. He's playing very passively at this front. He has many, many targets that he can go for. Dex, Xavier, he does have the ultimate on hand, but he's not going for that. He needs to be able to take this risky plays in order to take INSOMNIACS down before letting them scale up and to infinity and beyond.
At this point in time, it doesn't seem like the fight is going in, or rather the economy is going in to anyone's favor for now. It is still pretty much even Stevens in 3 minutes in. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the in-game equipment.
Pretty decent builds, pretty decent sort of like matchups for now. You've got the marksman or the gold laners actually delaying their boots just a little bit, but CC is actually doing much better, able to push that Granger back. But, you know, I just want to point out as well, you got a double fighter side lanes in the turtle pits, in the turtle engages. You should have that CC in that mid as well, or rotating towards that middle lane just to get a little bit more farm or clear that lane to maintain priority. You are clearing the lanes much faster, so why not just clear that lanes, move down, join in these team fights, and ramp up the aggression. It goes to show the damage from INSOMNIACS in the early game is too much for King's SG to handle. They're playing it passively, playing it safe, a little too safe in my opinion.
The first turtle definitely goes a little bit more Ori for King's SG because of the downtime of the jungler. Losing that orange buff definitely sets him back quite a lot. But moving on forward, it will start to get a little bit better, and the level differences between the two junglers will start to even out real soon. But at least for now, X is currently at level 7, Yahiko is still at level 6. So even coming into the second turtle, there is going to be a little bit differences here. Down to the bottom lane, we do have 4 members from the side. INSOMNIACS just going to be working their way right down over to Bunboy Reborn, but he still stays alive by the end of that. But unfortunately, it does seem like X is going to find himself taken down, and Yahiko goes straight in for the Ogi Shadow Kill, picks him out. But this is still a very strong INSOMNIACS we were talking about, with 4 men with the AOG slamming it right down over to the tier 1 turret, allowing them to pick up 2 kills in total, and that, or rather 2 kills from that fight. 3 kills in total for INSOMNIACS, and that is going to be a 1,100 goal lead for INSOMNIACS already.
Smart move by INSOMNIACS, bringing that Granger down all the way from the top side into the turtle pit. Even if Dex lost his life, you got Kaiser to clean everyone up. 1-0-2 for this Granger, and slowly but surely the damage from Granger will start to show. Kings is going to feel it, and the double fighter side lane combos, if you don't have that early game aggression. Oh, hold on a second. Bottom side.
Oh, Bill TZ finds himself taken. This is one of the front liners and the beefy ones that will be taken down.
Oh,
but that's not the end just yet. Oh, indeed, a curtain call dealt a lot of damage, allowing that Pong to get a kill down over to the Kaiser. Kings SG, they are striking back and they are not going to be giving Insomniacs this second turtle as much as they have already lost the first one. Big amount of shields that has already been popped up, and of course Xavier quickly popped himself right out of the fight.
That's how you want to play as Kings SG. You have that double fighter side lanes, utilize the CC into these neutral objectives, bring her down and try to zone everyone out, because basically your main damage dealer or your cleanup will be Yahiko. Deal a lot of damage, bring them down low, and Yahiko clears up that job. You don't really need to fight around that neutral objective. Usually for a lot of teams, they will give up that neutral objectives. They will use that as bait and then take down your hero. So pretty much even in scoreline, still a pretty much stalemate at this point for Kings SG, but they do have the upper hand right now at 6 minutes on the clock. They have that mid-game power spike.
Let's also remember that Kaiser just picked up the Sky Piercer. So from this point on, any kills is going to contribute over to the Sky Piercer stacks, and as long as they're able to get that thing rolling, it's definitely gonna start to hurt Kings SG. But talking about 6 minutes or 7 minutes into the game right now, what are we looking for Insomniacs, and if whether they have got a chance to even win in the mid stages?
Dex just only has one target. Once you take down Ryzen, basically Insomniacs can run Kings SG down. The only issue is it's going to be difficult to get through. I haven't seen Dex using that homing missile directly onto Ryzen yet, but I hope we'll be able to see it soon. 44 seconds until the first load of the game. There's only 2 turtles because they delayed it by dancing around the turtle pit so long.
Second turtle indeed kind of stayed alive a little bit too long, but I think that's fine. That means that if a team definitely is able to kind of snowball that this fight onwards, the first lord will help them clear a lot of that outer turrets. And remember, all these outer turrets ultimately have got a lot of gold in them as well.
Yeah, we're slowing things down just a little bit. I keep forgetting it's dangerous grass. There's a lot more bushes for you to check, and I think that's the reason why the Grok and Uranus was actually picked up for both sides. You want to open up that bushes, try to make sure. Oh, nice on the Kaiser!
That's a 3-man knockout coming in from the charge right off the bat, and it doesn't seem like this fight is going anywhere because there's just a lot of DOT damage and they have a lot of sustain. But until Yahiko joins in the fray, the only shadow kill is going to be shared among 3's person, but unfortunately taunted right down by Silent, allowing Kaiser to pick up that 1 kill that will be credited over to the kill to the Sky Piercer.
Smart move by Insomniac, waiting for the Uigi Shadow kill to end. Silent goes in with a taunt, draws the Hayabusa out of the way. Insomniacs can easily pick up this Lord for themselves. No contest for this one.
It's gonna be tough with DexX picking up that Lord for themselves. Insomniacs would now have a very tough, very strong wave that will be marching down to the bottom lane because the T1 turret has already been destroyed. One of the main concerns for Kings SG is losing out their jungle, because the moment that they lose the T1 in the middle lane and the top lane, access to their own purple buff is undoubtedly gonna be tough.
Lord marching down the bottom side. Just now, Iron Ryan actually created such a great opportunity for Kings SG, but the reaction from Insomniacs immediately flickers out of the way just to get repositioned, especially from Xavier and Kaiser. Dex just goes in straight for Ryzen, tries to take him down, takes a lot of damage and gets out of the way, disrupting the Fred strike. So if Insomniacs is able to do that a little bit more, tries to play a more reactive approach, pull the game towards maybe the 12-minute mark, they might be able to get that enough damage to burst everyone down, but here comes Dex.
And it just seems as though the entire 4-man knockout coming in, rising all the way from the back when it comes down to the artillery strikes, allowing Bong to pick up a kill down onto Silent. So with 1 person down for the side of Insomniac and 2 for Kings, Insomniac will still be able to flood the floor with everyone.
Good call from Insomniacs. Hayabusa was right down the bottom side. Yahiko not in the midst of battle, enabling Insomniacs to try to push them down in the mid side. The damage actually comes through from Kaizen. He's 1 and 3. All Rigi onto Kaiser, able to flicker out of the way.
Oh, that is big. The fact that Kaiser still managed to keep onto that double kill charge on Sky Piercer is super important, right? It actually went over to Silent and then he managed to get himself right out of the way. Super important to ensure that Kaiser don't go down from that.
Yep, we've got the Holy Crystal from Dex, so the damage is going to come through from this Joy. Also slowly for Kaiser building up his core items. If he's got the Malefic Roar, he's got the Sky Piercer, maybe 20 stacks right now. It's not significant, but it really has a lot of impact in a lot of big team fights.
I think that for Kings SG, they have already missed their timing, right? this is a double
early game
fighter
timing
thing.
the early game timing is all gone. Like you don't really have a lot of late game damage to be able to deal with that.
Yeah.
Bumble Reborn using the Esmeralda cannot sustain the damage that comes through from Xavier. Always getting pulled back, and it's DOT. It's damage over time. There's not a lot of burst for now because Xavier Ranger is not really online as well. Xavier doesn't deal that much burst damage, but he has a lot of DOTs and a lot of long drawn out kind of crowd control abilities. But King's SG not utilizing the CC to its full potential though, not being able to find flanks and just playing a typical front to back. I would say King's SG would thrive more if you lure everyone down with that Grok and try to collapse everyone from the side.
I think the other thing is the fact that the follow-up from Esmeralda can take quite a bit of time. Like Iron Ryan, yeah, he managed to pull off a really amazing tectonic charge, right? Because it's instant, it's fast. With the flicker on hand, no one can react to that. However, anything else afterwards, they can react because I don't know just how long it is until Bumble Reborn can actually pull off his ultimate. But in the previous fight, that we saw in middle lane, that didn't happen, and his ultimate charge only came in after the players could have started moving.
Yeah, the pepper spray checking on the bushes. You're waiting to see where Hayabusa is. INSOMNIACS doesn't know where Yahiko is, and they're delaying that Lord until he shows himself. They don't have any lane priors except for the short lane, so INSOMNIACS will have the slight advantage on that one. Silent trying to pull Bumble Reborn into the fight, but without a little bit more intelligence on where Yahiko is, INSOMNIACS doesn't want to pull the trigger.
Yep, the Lord is taking a little bit more pot shots, while in the meantime, Yahiko has managed to reach level 15 as compared to Des, that is currently at level 14. So King's SG now do have the retribution advantage if they were to just jump the gun right now. They might not have much information as to where Dex is. Okay, now they have information. So now, no ultimate from Dex, and he's currently at level 14. They can go for this jump. Which in case, it is going to jump immediately on the silent. They almost managed to bring him down, however, the AOG gives him a slight moment of invulnerability, only for Yahiko to be caught in that crossfire. As such, no more jungler from the side of King's SG, but Bumble Reborn with not much HP to work with. The rest of the members from King's SG, they gotta have to retreat.
Yahiko down, INSOMNIACS has all the time in the world to take down this Lord. 20 seconds until Yahiko comes up, and you have around 13 minutes and 44 seconds until the Lord comes out of the base. So INSOMNIACS can take this time to tally up, synchronize the waves, push it all in. They have the upper hand, 4,000 gold lead ahead of King's SG. And yeah, like you said, their core timing is already gone. Double fighter side lanes should be helping them out in the early game into the mid side, but it's not working out so well. Even CC doesn't have that damage anymore. Granger is starting to scale up out of control, and it's just so hard for Kings to actually defend against this one. There's not a lot of scaling potential except from Yahiko.
This is only a front-to-back game from King's SG. If they are unable to score a kill onto the one that they targeted, in this case, it was Silent. If Silent is able to walk away or just AOG out of the way, then Silent has pretty much done his job. He managed to soak up a lot of damage, and he's managed to buy a lot of time because of the AOG invulnerability window. The moment that he managed to pull that off, the game is over for the side of King's SG. They're unable to reallocate their abilities, reallocate their damage, because they've already spent quite a lot of skills.
Good delay onto the Lord. King's SG buys himself some time before the enhancement in waves actually crash in, but INSOMNIACS doesn't want to commit into any of these team fights. They see where Bong is, but they want to try to go for a little bit more damage.
They managed to find something onto Biltizi, but he's not going to find himself in a difficult spot because of Consecration. Immediately cleanses himself, and he does have got all his written stacks back up again.
Oh, this is the problem. This is not really the problem, but this is the gameplay with sustain heroes, the sustain fighters. They put themselves in very difficult positions, heal everything back up, and it's back to square one. So 80 seconds and the next Lord spawns up. How are you doing, Abstract?
I just find it a little bit difficult for me. I just generally find it a little bit difficult because this is the second lot for INSOMNIAC, but they didn't manage to get a single hit off of the inner turret. Because First Lord, what you want is all of the outer turrets.
Yeah.
Second Lord, you will want the inner turrets. If you're unable to close out the inner turrets for the second Lord, then you're gonna have to wait for the third one, if you similarly fourth one, the fifth one, the subsequent ones, right?
Yeah.
This is, of course, still a game that for INSOMNIACS to win because they have a proper marksman. So they're not particularly too afraid of going long into the game, but that is just so that they will be able to increase their chances of winning just because of the late game insurance that they have.
For Insomniacs, the win condition is very clear right now. Wait for Yahiko to jump in, try to get that taunt off of him, and clear him out before going crazy on the rest of the members. There's not a lot of damage from Bong right now in the late game. You can see him using the yo-yos just to hit a little bit of Bill TZ, but it doesn't matter because it's only a tickle. He's healing everything back up. That's the healing factor of Wolverine that we're talking about. And Insomniacs, though, their win condition is keeping Kaiser alive. Once he goes down, that is the trigger, or that's the window of opportunity that King's SG can go for. 4 seconds until Lord spawns up. Insomniac's already in position. The top side, long lane away from that Lord, is already starting to push in. Insomniac's already sees that King's SG has 3 members up on the top side. Insomniac's blitzing down this Lord.
But Boribon immediately makes his way right into the heart of Insomniacs, only to find himself taken down by Kaiser. Yet another stack going to the Sky Piercer. Well, in the meantime, Bill TZ, he manages to get himself a good amount of information as to where Yahiko is. They know that he's all the way down south now. There could always be a possibility for him to come and steal, but now that all of the quad shadows are gone, that is gonna be a guaranteed Lord for Insomniacs.
Not without Bun Boy Reborn. I think there's not enough tank ability against this Granger. It's 5-1 and 3. That's 40 stacks on top of this Granger already with a Sky Piercer. Almost full build. Has the win in nature to protect himself against this Hayabusa. It's going to be long and drawn out, but Insomniacs has to play this Lord well. What is there going on? What is this?
I will forever be able to do that.
That is a jump scare. That is a jump scare if I ever seen one.
Lord is getting a little bit too close for comfort right there. But as the Lord as much as down to the bottom lane, Insomniacs is readying themselves up. He does have his trusty trident that he will be able to clash down over to the T1 turrets. So we'll see whether that's going to lead them anywhere.
The Uranus easily zoning out that Hayabusa away from Kaiser just creates so much space for Kaiser to just free hit from that back, and it's just pretty much late game territory for Insomniacs. It's 18 minutes on that clock. Insomniacs trying to gun it down. There's one turret destroying down on the T3.
Yep, that's what they need. Now that the T3 down to the bottom is taken down, while in the meantime artillery strikes down from heaven.
Oh!
But unfortunately, that's not going to help them
Kaiser.
anything. But it will be more than enough for them to be able to take the T3 down. Kaiser finally goes down, so that is one of the core player from Insomniacs that is gone. So it forces Insomniacs to fall back.
Good call from Iron Ryan, seeking out where Kaiser is, using Tectonic Charge to throw him out of control, and Wind of Nature won't be able to stop that one. A lot of damage taken on by Insomniacs, but right now King's SG has the upper hand. They are able to play and cycle them all the way through. This is a curtain call already used up. Bill TZ able to flicker out of the way as Insomniacs slowly but surely needs to wait for Kaiser. That is the only win condition that King's SG has.
This is also the point in time where they will want to kind of fight back right now.
Dex.
We do have the Defensive Airstrike that will be used, and of course the Winter Crown has been used as well, but unfortunately that's not going to get Desex out of a very difficult situation.
Smart cycling move by King's SG. Once they know that Kaiser is out of the picture, they are charging ahead through. Kaiser's coming back, they fall back. So it's pretty simple for King's SG. They have a strategy they want to play around, but Iron Ryan is all up to him to find that charge onto this Granger.
This is still a tough game though, because they are still going to be facing off against a marksman that has got pretty good amount of kills to his end. It did manage to lose half of those stacks, so it definitely helped quite a bit. However, we need to also remember that middle lane and the bottom lane is completely naked.
Yep. They're charging right in, trying to start anything at all, but it's just poking from Insomniac, trying to delay King's SG's approach onto the turrets. Top lane of King's SG is just barely standing and holding on. Take a look at items, Hayabusa, full item builds. You've got the Winter Crown already built up by the Uranus as well as the Juicin. You got full builds as well from the Granger. He might be able to sell the boots for a little bit more oomph later on. As the Lord spawns up, Insomniac's in the position. They don't know where Yahiko is at this time, so they don't want to make a move. Kaiser needs to watch his position. That is the win condition for Insomniacs.
The lack of intel is definitely going to be a little bit difficult for Insomniacs, because Yahiko could just come from the back at any point in time, as we do have the members from King's SG that will be able to break the silence right in Insomniacs, but very good retreat going on, forcing King's SG to waste a couple of their ultimates. As such, the fight back for Insomniacs can definitely happen anytime, as long as, you know, they don't let the Feather Airstrike go off cooldown. But speaking of which, Kaiser picks up a kill on the Yahiko. This is a point in time that they will be able to get the Evolve Lord with no problems. AOG airballed, unable to do anything. But unfortunately, the Feather Airstrike will come back, and that will be more than enough to help them secure a kill down over to Silent.
Huge kill over onto Yahiko, but look at the bottom side. Minions are pushing in. INSOMNIACS might be able to take advantage of this. No wild charge, no tectonic charge. They are going to pull the trigger. They need to be able to start this. They need to blitz this down. Look at the minions pushing in through as INSOMNIACS takes down the 4th floor of the game. Homeboy Reborn just barely holding on, unable to just clear that wave. It's almost, but not enough.
If they extended the fight a little bit longer, the minions could have been able to get them the win. Could have, would have, should have. But, well, regardless, I think that the main thing is they don't want to leave all of their hopes and dreams in a single basket of
Bobby.
Of Bobbies. Of Bobbies. But now, they don't have only Bobby. They have...
what do you want to call this guy? Larry?
Clive.
Larry the Lord.
Larry the Lord. Larry the Lord.
No,
Larry.
Larry.
I like Larry.
I like Larry too.
I like Larry.
Larry's not doing so well. Getting immediately taken down by Kings SG, so buys himself some time for Ego to come online and get into position, but he's taking a lot of damage though. Needs to get that retreat. INSOMNIACS just taking full control of this game. Even though they're in a stalemate, this is a 22-minute game that we're talking about. INSOMNIACS, as long as they keep Kaiser alive, they're running in with AOG.
Yep, AOG is not going to let anyone. As such, the response from Iron Ryan just goes for the tectonic charge. As such, it puts them in a very, very difficult spot. While in the meantime, Immortality pops from the side of Dazax. The main thing is that they managed to take...
Oh, that's the Winions!
That's the Winions!
We were all so tunnel visioned.
Myself included.
Yeah, by the game, they didn't know what was going on, and we're like, oh, okay, we won. The Winions actually pushed
I was
through.
like, huh?
Look at their expressions. It's like, oh, what?
Like,
what?
This game, it gotta be silent.
Yeah.
It's the Gato Gacha. With 2 kills, 2 deaths, and 8 assists with 100% kill participation. The entire team only killed 10 times? That
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
feel
10
that
to
way.
8. 10 to 8.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
It was difficult for them to get more kills because, you know, they're facing up against 3 fighters and a really, really huge tank. The only target that they have is maybe the Hayabusa, which fell, I think, 4 times. And I'm putting the Silent up. He's actually the roamer of INSOMNIACS instead of EXP, so there's a little bit of a visual bug right there. But he's been setting up well. He knows how to play around this Hayabusa by waiting within his shadows, taunting him once he comes close to protect Kaiser from any harm possible. So huge props to Silent. Great start of the game for INSOMNIACS. But for Kings SG, same cannot be said. There was a lot of mistakes that were made. Even though Bong had a perfect game for 0-2 on the CC, he wasn't able to do too much in the late game. This is an issue with a fighter draft. Like, you want to be able to invest all your resources in the early game, try to ramp up the aggression, try to get that rotation going earlier on. Even go as far as to give up your top lane turret just to be in that fight. You want to be able to cycle your opponents as much as possible before going into any of these neutral objectives, using neutral objectives only as bait.
Understandably, I thought that this game could have been a lot more cleaner for the side of INSOMNIACS, because I would say that they are more or less guaranteed the game about 17 minutes in. But I think that they have a lot of issues trying to end the game. Like, they are not very sure or not very confident on what is their win condition or how they can exactly win the game, because they do have an evolved Lord that is just marching right in, right? They have a big Larry in the middle, but they did not supplement Larry with any more things, right? They didn't walk together with Larry. They didn't zone anyone else out away from Larry. It is more the fact that, yeah, here, kill Larry and let's go for a duel up in the top lane kind of thing.
I think that Larry isn't the answer. It is the enhanced minions. It's more difficult to deal with the enhanced minions coming in from 3 lanes instead of dealing with 1 Lord themselves. So INSOMNIACS really identified this. They can give up that Lord as long as they push together with the enhanced minions. They have 3 waves that Kings SG has to face and defend against, and they know that they don't really have that high ground apart from that Farsa. They don't have a decent wave clear. It's only single targets. Homeboy Reborn is tunnel focused on chasing Kaiser.